Boss in the Sauce Show.
Boss in the Sauce Show.
Boss in the Sauce Show.
Boss in the Sauce Show. Here we go.
We're going to move over to something a little bit bigger. And this is players that are moving from in the transfer portal for one team to another team. And I spoke on some shows before that this is a common thing that's going on. And sometimes it makes a big difference. And sometimes it's not much of a big deal. So we're going into big deal or no deal. First up, KJ Jefferson from Arkansas, where I would say he undershot himself plenty of times and injury kind of screwed him up a lot. But he goes over to UCF, where Gus Malzahn says he reminds him of one of his top quarterbacks that he coached before. And what do you think about this one? Big deal or no deal for KJ?
First, he's not Cam Newton, all right? Let's just drop that. He is not going to be Cam Newton. He's the top 30 quarterback, but, man, it's in the bounce house, I think he's going to be very good. And he did play well on the road, but I'm not buying that now all of a sudden he's going to be a Heisman-level candidate quarterback. He's good, but he's not Cam Newton level. I mean, you can appreciate a coach gassing up his player, but no, he's not that elite of a guy. I'm not going to bet on UCF just because KJ Jefferson is there.
There it is right now. I had a small concept thinking of KJ Jefferson, just going from the SEC over to the Big 12, size-wise. In the SEC, when he does what he does on the ground, those guys can hammer him down. But I think he's taking a class down. And when he gets loose in the Big 12, he could have a lot more time getting downfield on those guys than he did in the SEC. But that's the only small edge I see right there. Gus Malzahn tries to say that it's a match between his skill capability and what he has going on there. So if that's true, we could all be surprised by this guy right here. I think that I don't know. He's, I almost wouldn't say he's a big deal or no deal, but I would say he's probably some deal. I'm gonna have to add that some deal.
Yes, I would agree with that. That's honestly that's the perfect way to say it, because you don't want to say he's a big deal when you're gonna have every box stacked against him. You can't say he's no deal because that's a great point. Going from SEC kind of taking a step down. Now some of those defenders are going to be a little smaller in size. He should have more success, but I'm not going to bank on him being the guy that you're going to see in New York at the end of the year.
Absolutely. Let's keep it moving. Now, some of these picks that I have here are personal, and they're for cappers and people who really do this. So if you get a name or something that you're not sure of or whatever, hey, just be honest. But it ain't nothing crazy. You probably know everything. Like I said, you were the first person that came to mind because I'm like, not everybody can handle what we got going on right here. So big deal or no deal. Next up, Trevor Etienne left Florida like a bad habit and moves on to Georgia, expecting who knows the 3-peat championship. I don't know. What do you think right here? Big deal or no deal?
I mean, I think it's somewhat of a big deal. It's kind of similar. Georgia's got a pretty decent running back room because it's not going to be just ATN. Like, they've got other guys. You just look at some of their guys that they got back there. They've got, Cash Jones is back there. Branson Rodriguez is back there. I mean, that's one of the big names is Branson Rodriguez. He's a highly touted guy. So it's not just going to be ATN. If ATN goes down, they're not going to feel that loss at all. But is ATN a very, very good player? Yes, he is a very, very good player. He is explosive. But he's not going to change like that Georgia team. Like, they're going to be good. They're going to be really good. But if ATN goes down, they got other guys behind him that are also very, very good. So somewhat of a big deal, but this is not a game changer. Georgia just keeps on getting guys year in, year out. Shout out to Kirby Smart and what he's done over there. But this is just some deal. Don't expect it to be the number one factor in what leads to their success, but I like ATN. I do. And I think he can be a difference maker when he's on the field. on a team full of difference makers.
Well, I love ETN. I think it's a great opportunity for him, especially with the line and the coaching that they have over there. But the offense over there is kind of pro set, really basic. Probably gets them better for the NFL, regardless of what they do as a team for the season. But I've got an underseason total on Georgia, believe it or not,
Okay.
because of the inside information which they keep shoveling under the door, is that these guys are getting in big trouble down there in Georgia. All of it has to do with vehicles. It goes back to 2 years ago after the national championship where the coach got in an accident with a player that died, all that good stuff. But several players on Georgia squad are getting DUIs and all type of criminal trouble. And guess what? ETN ain't even been there that long, and he's already got an allegation going of DUI. He said he drunk 3 beers. Now, if you tell the police you drunk 3 beers, he was probably pretty loaded. But I don't know. I think this could be the decline. And we start thinking about where's Kirby Smart going after Georgia, so he can get more money as well. So winning isn't everything all the time to some of these guys. This is their career, so they have to play it accordingly. But let's keep it going. Next up, boom, Cameron Ward goes from Washington State because he didn't want to be left in the pack nobodies, and jumps over to Miami, where he's supposed to be a big deal over here. What do you think? Big deal or no deal right here for Cameron Ward?
I mean, I think a lot of this is dependent on Mario Cristobal. Like, is he able to actually get this Miami team to do the right thing? Big issue with Cam Ward was fumbles. All right, he lost the ball an awful lot. What was it? He lost the ball. He had 12 fumbles last year. I mean, that's a significant amount of fumbles for a guy that's supposed to throw the ball and not run with the ball all that much in the offense that they had at Washington State. I do like him. He is a very good quarterback. He was probably the number one guy available in the transfer portal for the quarterback position. It is just a question of, will they be able to put it together at Miami? And I like Ward, but Miami's got so many questions marks. So I would say it is probably a big time move because you had to have a guy to replace Van Dyke, and Van Dyke had an underperforming year. But does that mean Ward's going to have an underperforming year or what? But I like Ward. I think he's an outstanding quarterback. He gives you a lot of options. He can be a dual threat. It's just ball security. Can he cut down on those turnovers? If he's able to cut down on turnovers, if he's able to still be productive, I think Miami's going to be a legit team. So I would say he's probably a big time. He's a big deal going from Washington State over to Miami. But it is very dependent on Cristobal and what they do as a program.
Well, Cameron Ward, I don't know. In the streets, we'll call him a hood hopper. I mean, he goes Florida State, Washington State, now Miami. Those show signs of function in the player themselves, let alone the family, the travel, the different environments. Who knows what the real deal is with this kid? And I don't know. I don't know, but when you look at his skill set and how he plays on the field, big deal. But I don't know if we at the end ropes. Some of these players are on their 6th and 7th year in college and all kinds of crazy stuff because of the pandemic. So I don't know. I'm question marks on that one. I thank you for coming to answer that one. But I got another one for you, and this one kind of puzzles me. Boom, Dylan Gabriel goes from Oklahoma over to Oregon, and I put the wrong picture I put the one when he was from UCF. But anyways, Dylan Gabriel over to Oregon in this spot. Big deal or no deal? Oregon is predicted number 2 in the Big Ten coming in there. So what do you think Dylan Gabriel is right here for this squad?
I mean, first off, Big Boss, you probably didn't even need to mention the uniform thing because Oregon runs so many uniforms. I would have bought it.
They probably had a gold and black Oregon Duck uniform.
They probably have. And if they haven't, they probably will. I try when I'm talking here about all these things, I'm trying not to do off the field stuff. Just trying to go what you would see on the field. Why did Gabriel leave? Why did he go to Oregon? What was it about Oklahoma in last year that made him go, I need to find a better spot for me. I need to be in a better place. So what was is that more of a say on Oklahoma, or is that more of how enticing it was at Oregon? I mean, maybe he really likes the atmosphere at Oregon and he wants to get out of the Oklahoma heat, which I don't blame him. I mean, I did a baseball tournament one time in Oklahoma. It was awful. So I don't know, but is he one of the best quarterbacks potentially in college football right now? Yeah, 100%. Absolutely. But it's just a matter of what was the motivation? Like, what was the genesis behind him going from Oklahoma to Oregon? I still think all the hype is justified with what they have at Oregon and the amount of talent they have. And I think he is a big deal. He has to be one of the best quarterbacks in college football, moving from one team to another. You can't say it's not, but I'm a little like, I think a lot of us, oh, wait, what? Like, really? Why? Like, what happened? So big deal, but kind of like, what happened?
Hey, to add more flame to the fire, they bring in Dante Moore from UCLA, and who could just as very well be a starter itself. So more of why and how. But I'm gonna leave the coach over there alone, because I thought Bo Nix was a bum, and he turned Bo Nix into a superstar. So I'm gonna no answer for me on that one. But now let's go into some other little tricky ones. Let's see if you know about this one right here. Quinn Sean going over from Ole Miss to Ohio State. Big deal or no deal?
I mean, first off, anybody that's played the NCAA game, he's a cheat code. Like, he's a legitimate cheat code in that game. Just spin moves all over the place. But anyways, I would say it's a big deal, but you're also having quite a bit like that's going to be one hell of a running back room, because you got Judkins in there and you've got Travion Henderson that's over there. So I mean, and where's he going to play? Like, are they going to split him slot? Are they going to split him out wide? You know, what are they going to do there? Because they have so many options for what they can do with this field. And I mean, Ryan Day has shown that he will be creative. So I wouldn't be shocked if he was going back and forth between tailback, between wide receiver. I think I've already seen some video of him being moved around quite a bit, because that offense could be legit. I mean, again, that's not really saying much about Ohio State, but this team could be an absolute force and could just be a team that no defense is able to figure out with all that firepower. I'd say it's a big deal, but it's also kind of like he hit on a team just like ATN. He hit on a team that really, it's not major upgrade over what they already currently have. I mean, obviously they lost a lot of talent in their wide receiver department, so you figure he's probably going to be thrown around all over the field. Some deal.
I couldn't really, I don't really have any opposition to him not being a big deal. So I'd have to say that he's got a big deal. Next one coming up is another small sleeper, not Power 5 guys that play really well, and now he want to go Power 5. Here we are, Nate Noel, running back from App State, who did a great job over there, goes to Mizzou and looks like he's headed for the starting position here. What do you think about our guy Nate? Big deal or no deal?
I'd say big deal. Missouri needed to have a little bit of a little more depth at the running back position. They did very well last year. I'm blanking on the guy's name that was there last year, but it was I think it was their first 1,000-yard rusher that they've had in like a decade or something like that. I forget the stat, but it was like there's been a gap in their productivity at the running back position. Missouri's a hype team. Like, there's a lot of people that are hyping this program up, and rightfully so. They look like they could be a contender for the SEC, for playoffs, for national champs. I'm not going to go that far, but he was underutilized at App State. There were a lot of games where it's like 4th and 1, and he's not in the game for some reason. You're just like that's the best player on the field. Like, get him out there. So I think that this is going to be a very good situation for him. I would not be surprised if he was there at the end of the year, Doak Walker and everything like that. I really think I think this is going to be a big year for him. I think Missouri needed they needed some depth. They needed to get some guys in there, and I really like this move. I think it's a big deal because the guy is just overly talented. Question mark is step up in competition. Like, he was good at App State. Is he going to be good in the SEC? I guess yes. Could I see it otherwise? Absolutely. Because how many guys have you seen take a step up in their competition and realize, like, oh, yeah, I'm not as good as I thought it was. But I think it's a big deal. I like him. I think Missouri has a more complete offense because he's now there.
I like it. It's a big, big deal for me. It's one of my favorite ones. But that's it for big deal or no deal.
Oh, this you crazy mother.